Hi, it's time for the lunch break show again, and it's finally Friday, so this is the last episode for this week. And I can start with telling you that I dropped my MacBook Air 11-inch on the kitchen floor yesterday. The horror. Fortunately, it seems to be perfectly fine. Nothing is wrong with it. I can't find anything that's wrong with it. The only thing I see is a small mark on the hinge. Still, yeah, the hinge is still working though, so I think the MacBook Air it could be dropped on the kitchen floor without a scratch, and I was lucky it's working still. So without the MacBook Air, I have no computer at all. It's my main machine, so it's very important that it still works. So I'm glad that the aluminium shell is so robust that it can take a fall. So here we go. This Friday we have on Google Plus some new followers, as usual. A lot of new followers, as you can see. I posted earlier about a screenshot of the coming Google Drive. We can look at that. It takes some time to load because I am on 3G, tethering to my iPhone. Can this image be bigger? Yes, I think so. Like that. As you can see here, it looks like we get 5 GB free space when Google Drive is coming. And it's completely free. There will be apps for Windows or desktop, mobile and tablets. And the address, the URL is drive.google.com. I hope we will see apps for iOS and OS X too, so we can use Google Drive on our iOS devices and Macs. Let's hope so. Not much interaction yet on that post. 12 plus ones, 5 shares and 3 comments. Scott McSweeney Roberts says that he is hoping for rsync support. I don't know what rsync is, so I don't know what to reply to that. What's that? Yesterday I posted about big phones is unpractical, and not much discussion, but 9 comments says that I am wrong. Okay. My personal opinion is that big phones is unpractical. It's very hard to use them, especially with one hand. Typing and cropping and editing video and so on. Very hard. And when we are on, we can check the mail first. Trash, trash. The comment from Google Plus and trash. So when we now have Twitter opened, I can tell a secret for you, and the secret is that I use Twitter more and more now. The reason is that Google Plus is kind of boring at the moment, because I think that many followers, many of the followers I have is ghost accounts. They are not here anymore. I have over 28,000 followers, and the interaction gets less and less on Google Plus. And another reason is that it's too much Apple hate for me on Google Plus. It's so many Android fanboys on Google Plus, and that's probably because Android is a Google product, and Google Plus is a Google product. So it's natural that there is a lot of Android lovers there, Android fanboys, and not so many Apple lovers. So on Twitter there is a lot better for Android Apple fanboys or Apple lovers like me, because on Twitter there is more broad users, and Twitter is the social network that Apple is integrating into their OS, like OS X, Mountain Lion. There will be Twitter integrated, and Twitter is already integrated into iOS. So I am using Twitter more and more than Google Plus at the moment. Don't get me wrong, I still like Google Plus, and I think it's an excellent blog service, for example. You can use it as a blog and get a lot of interaction. Very cool. And Google integrates it into search and many more products, so it's the future to use Google Plus. I'm sure of that. But unfortunately, it looks like Google is doing Google Plus for Android more and more. For example, as you can see here on Google Plus here, you can see they have the Android market now in the toolbar. Not what I want to have in the toolbar. I don't use Android market, so Google Plus and all other Google services starting to be more and more for Android users, and that's the reason. One of the reasons I now use Twitter more and more. I think Twitter could still be a very good social network, and if you do your timeline, if you unfollow people that you doesn't want to follow and only follow the people you think gives you something, then Twitter could be very useful, actually. So my secret in this lunch breaks show is that I am starting to use Twitter more than Google Plus again. Let's see how long this will be like that, or maybe I quit using Google Plus totally. I don't know. Not now, but maybe if Google continue to integrate Android and Google Plus and every service together with Android. So maybe I will quit using Google Plus and only use Twitter. So if you follow me on Google Plus, be sure to follow me on Twitter at Svartling. So you can follow me there instead. Or follow me on both. of course. That was the secret I'm gonna tell you today. What have happened on Twitter? My main account, Svartling, the English account. Some new followers. Strange users. I will not follow back. Here is one I know, Dini Search. This is how you follow a person on TweetDeck. Click on this and choose follow or unfollow. And as you can see, I follow Dini Search on both my English account and my Swedish account. So he has finally followed me back on my English account. Some retweets. My Google Drive screenshot post has been retweeted. And Stefan Halli says, oh, where did it go now? He says in TweetDeck that when it updates, you can't be where you were. Man, Stefan Halli says that about the tweet about Google self-driving car takes blind man to Taco Bell. Stefan Halli says that Google hates blind people. That's the moral of that story. Okay, I don't know what he is talking about, but I just replied okay. Christopher Rizzo has retweeted my post about my screencast show. Thanks, Christopher. And the screencast show he is talking about is the lunch break show that you are watching at the moment. That was my English account, my Swedish account, some mentions. Mikael Samuelsson comments about Android. Is planning to sell Android tablets on the net. Google plans to sell Android tablets on the net, and he says, interesting, but it's not there the problem is. And I agree with that. The problem with Android tablets is they have no good apps, and they are too expensive, and so on. So that was my Twitter. I got a comment. From Google Plus, let's see, from Ellie, an old internet friend. She has commented on my profile photo. Such a serious face. I compare this with your other profile photo that had a timestamp for a day during the 21st century. I don't recall exactly. It was. This one is 31st December. 1969. That's totally wrong. Which I think is higher. Or perhaps you have aged phenomenal well. No, I guess not. Just notice your wristwatch, which reveals that this photo couldn't have been taken in 1969. I must answer that the date is totally. That date is totally wrong. The photo is from 31st December 2011. The New Year's Day. Strange that the dates is so wrong. The other profile photo is also from 2011. Okay, commenting on my profile photo. Okay, so we go back to TweetDeck to find some interesting news. I need to do a thing on my working computer for some seconds here. Later this afternoon I will travel to a tennis cup with my son in Åby, Norrköping. If he wins the next match, the next tennis game is tomorrow in the morning. So no beer for me this evening, but if he loses, I maybe can take a beer when I'm coming home again. Let's see. Okay, my Twitter stream then. T. Tyson, he is a real Apple fanboy. He almost always posts good stuff about Apple. Here's another Apple friend I have, S. Sieg. It's too bad that many of my Apple friends are at sleep when I am awake. For example, Christopher Rizzo from the US. He is almost always at sleep when I'm doing this show, for example. That's too bad, because I want to read his tweets and retweets his news. He's a real good Apple friend. HTC One series devices go on sale early in Germany. Many of you have already seen that device, especially the Android lovers. It's sold in Germany right now, as you can see. A hands-on photo. The HTC One S 8 megapixel camera, 7-hour talk time, Android 4.0. That's cool. Cost €519. It has a Snapdragon S4 processor, 4.7 inch screen. No, the X. The HTC One X has a 4.7 inch screen and yes, confusing here. The S has a Snapdragon S4 processor, but I can't see how big the screen is. I can't remember the screen size on the HTC One S actually. But the One X, HTC One X has a 4.7 inch screen and costs €579. 8 megapixel camera, NVIDIA Tegra quad core processor. That's cool. Too big for me, but cool. I have some minutes left on the lunch break. Let's see if we can find any info, news that's cool to share on Google Plus, for example, or retweet or tweet on Twitter. Pinterest. I am so tired of Pinterest. Everyone is using Pinterest and talking about Pinterest. I have never used Pinterest, so I can't say it's bad, but I think it's totally uninteresting actually. So nothing for me. $400 million in legal fees later. Apple and Samsung reportedly discussing patent settlement. Finally, I hope this patent war will stop soon. But it's hard because Samsung copies everything Apple does instead of innovating their own stuff. I checked because I don't like these kind of news. I'm not interested in these kind of news. So I checked the person that retweeted that to me if I should unfollow. But it was Eva Wars from Bambuser and I will follow her. And here we have something to mute. As you can see, this hashtag horsebiz. I am not interested in horse stuff, so I will mute that. So we open it so I can see it, and then I go to settings and choose global filter. Text content, you can choose author or source, but I choose text content, and then I type in that hashtag like this and add filter, and that kind of stuff is blocked, muted. Really good feature in TweetDeck. Also available in Tweetbot, the iOS Twitter app. You can mute stuff there too. We have another... no, we don't. So from now on I will not see that hashtag, those tweets with that hashtag. Here is the paper app I showed you yesterday in the lunch break show. It's a sketching app called Paper for iPad. Oh, I can't find any good news to share. No, I can't. That's bad. Let's see if we have got some updates on Google Plus, some new followers. No, not anymore. Apple supplier Foxconn cuts working hours. Workers ask why. Okay. I'm kinda tired of this Foxconn's news story too. Really tired. And always Apple, Apple, Apple. There is a lot of companies doing stuff in Foxconn, so. But always Apple in the news, so kinda boring actually. Yes, you knew what this is old news. I have already posted about that. No, I think we quit this lunch break show. Not so much interesting, and it's Friday. So we will call it the end of this show, this episode of the lunch break show. I hope you will have a nice weekend. Let's see if I start another kind of show in the weekends, if I have the time. We can do some cool stuff at home. Maybe showing some iOS apps and other cool stuff. But this lunch break show is the last for this week. This work week. I will try to do it every day when I'm working at the lunch break. Monday to Friday. So I will record this at my lunch break and post it on YouTube when I'm coming home in the evening. Every day, every week. I can't promise every day, but I will try at least. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to my playlist with only the lunch break shows if you want. And I hope you will enjoy my shows. I will try my best to make them interesting. Today I didn't have so much interesting news and other things. Remember my secret that I'm starting to use Twitter more than Google+, and I will use YouTube as my blog. I will post stuff on YouTube that I tweet on Twitter, plus much more, of course, on Twitter, but YouTube will be my blog. Simple as that. I love YouTube. I like to do videos, so I think the right way for me to do is using YouTube to post stuff on, and use Twitter to share and tweet the stuff I do and other interesting news from the web. So these two social networks I will use more and more. So I hope you enjoy this. Thanks. Bye.